how times have changed. We're doing this just after the budget speech, whereas nearly 40 years ago, when I created our very first budget update to our just over 20 clients, a technical connection, we did it by writing stuff, getting it typed, amending it, putting it in the clean copy that is on Conqueror paper in a spiral bound folder, and each one individually posted out by the brilliant Gail, who was my PA at the time, from the all-night post office in Great Portland Street. That's it, that little bit of history, that's where we came from. But where we are now, a quick update before we do our full tech link analysis, which will give you loads more detail. This is really with only a very, very cursory read of the documents that we have had and what we listened to. So here are the headlines I took from that I think are most relevant to the budget speech, that I think are most relevant to financial planners. Sorry for that small interruption if you heard it. Right, national insurance. Most of these were well trailed, actually. The national insurance change of reduction of 2% to both employees and self-employed contributions from the 6th of April. We sort of knew about that. The Chancellor was buoyed up by lower inflation and the OBR forecasts that growth would be a bit higher than expected and debt would be a bit lower as the proportion of GDP. So that was good and enabled him to go full on and do that national insurance reduction. We'll be talking about the implications of that within our TechLink reporting. Of course, the other thing that was well trailed as a way of getting money from behind the tax sofa, I did a short video on these two things actually, was an abolition of the non-dom provisions from the 6th of April 2025, but a replacement with a simpler residence-based system and a set of transitional provisions that we'll also do in detail because they require it, but basically allowing people to rebase their capital gains to 2019, non-DOMs that is, to 2019 values, giving them a period to remit income into the UK and capital gains into the UK at a lower tax rate. And the first year of the operation of the new system, giving you a 50% sort of money off taxation, that is, for your income that you remit, your foreign income into the UK for that first period. Again, more detail on this in the TechLink analysis, and we will also be having a look at the consultation that will take place on bringing inheritance tax into line from the date these new provisions start, but the consultation hasn't yet been announced. The furnished holiday letting provisions, they're going to be abolished and effectively not replaced. So we're going to have a look at that too. The new British ISA, a bit of consultation on that, but it will provide up to an additional, not up to, actually an additional £5,000 on top of your £20,000 ISA provision. So an additional £5,000 will be able to be invested in that British ISA on top of the £20,000. More detail on that in TechLink. The reform, the long overdue reform of the high income child benefit provisions, with a temporary change for now, and then once it's all been worked through, that change will be introduced too. That's going to be most welcome. What else have we got? A reduction of the highest capital gains tax rate of 28% from 28% down to a 24% rate for gains made on the disposal of non-main residence properties, because of course there's no capital gains tax on the disposal of your main residence. So disposal of residential property that isn't your main residence, the rate of tax will drop from 28 to 24. Again, more detail within the full TechLink bulletin. As I mentioned, that abolition of the furnished holiday lettings provisions. So they were the main things that I took from the main budget speech, all done a little bit hastily, but that's the nature of this kind of thing. And now we can defer into the papers that we have and do it in a little bit more detail. So look out for that on TechLink.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gents. I'm Simon Martin from Technical Connection, and in advance of our full budget analysis and forthcoming webinar, I'm going to touch on very briefly 3 or 4 things that are going to impact our business owner clients that were announced in the spring budget, which happened as I'm recording it today. The big one for a lot of business owners is the reduction of the main rate or the employee rate of national insurance down to 8%. That's going to have some big conversations around remuneration structures, particularly in light of dividend and corporation tax changes we've seen over the last couple of years. We're also seeing the VAT threshold increased from 85,000 to 90,000, which will be of interest. And thirdly, we've seen the change to non-DOMs, so that could impact entrepreneurs and business owners who are looking to come to the UK. So we'll see how that unfolds. And we also noted with some interest Mr. Hunt's comments around trying to turn the UK into the world's next Silicon Valley, how they want to attract investors and potentially business owners from overseas to come and become entrepreneurs in the UK to build here and to sell here. So lots of interesting things coming up in the budget, and we'll see how that transpires and look forward to delivering both our budget overview and our webinar in the forthcoming day or two. Thanks very much.
I'm Nikki, and I just wanted to give you a brief overview of one of the announcements in the Chancellor's Spring Statement in relation to the High Income Child Benefit Charge. Now, the High Income Child Benefit Charge, as you probably know, is designed to claw back child benefit where you or your partner have adjusted net income, and that's the important bit, the adjusted net income, of more than 50,000. The clawback is at a rate of 1% for each £100 earned by the higher earner. So effectively, fully withdrawn where income exceeds 60,000. Good news today, the Chancellor decided to increase that 50,000 threshold to 60,000. So effectively, and the higher threshold of 60,000 to 80,000. So effectively, the charge would still be tapered if you or your partner earn between 60,000 and 80,000. However, it will be tapered by 1% for your child benefit for every £200 of income that exceeds that 60,000 threshold. So pretty good news all in all. The other thing that was announced, but we don't have details of that just yet, is that we're going to be moving, or the government will be moving to what's known as a household-based income system come April 2026. So some good news for parents that came out of the spring budget.